Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are talking about The Mercy of Gods, the first book in the Captives War trilogy by James S.A, the same dude behind the Expanse series. And if you thought the Expanse made humanity look small, this one says, hold my microscope. Let's dive straight into the premise. The story takes place on Angene, a distant human colony that's been isolated from the rest of the species for thousands of years. Humanity's gotten comfortable researching local biology, bickering over academia, thinking they top the food chain. Then the Carricks arrive. They're a terrifying insectoid empire that studies other species the way we study lab rats. To them, mercy means keeping a few of us alive to run experiments on. So, yeah, not the kind of mercy you'd hope for. Angene is invaded, many humans die, the planetary elite, especially those involved in scientific work, are abducted and transported like cattle in atrocious conditions across heavens only knows how many light years to the Carrick's homeworld. As the humans soon learn, the Carricks view all other species as either useful or not. If you're useful to them, you earn protection and a place in their empire. The more useful, the higher your species status and access to resources. If you're not useful, well, then your entire species is wiped from existence. It's cold and dispassionate and truly frightening. Let's talk about our core trio of characters because this story really lives and dies by how these people respond to captivity. First up, Dafed Alcor. He's a young scientist, bright, idealistic, and in completely over his head. He starts out trying to do his job and keep everyone calm, but as the Carricks tighten control, he's forced into impossible moral choices. He becomes the emotional heart of the story, the guy trying to stay human when being human is a liability. Then there's Tonna Fries, the group's brilliant but arrogant team leader. He's the kind of scientist who generally believes he can logic his way out of a galactic apocalypse, which goes about as well as you'd expect. His leadership fractures under pressure, and watching him try to maintain authority while the world literally collapses is both tragic and painfully relatable. Finally, Elsa Yannon, Tonna's second in command, probably the most complex of the three. She's brilliant, secretive, and tied up in a mystery involving a strange alien organism called the Swarm. Elsa embodies the book's core tension. How far can knowledge go before it becomes betrayal? So, what can you expect around the themes and tone? At its heart, The Mercy of Gods isn't a story about winning, it's about enduring. It's about adaptation, captivity, and what survival costs when the universe doesn't care whether you make it or not. It's about what happens when survival means surrendering the very things that make you human. Corey dives deep into questions of identity and morality, but also biology and evolution. There's a lot of science here, but it's always grounded in human emotion. This book takes that classic first contact premise and turns it inside out. The aliens aren't monsters, they're curious. They don't hate us, they study us. And somehow, that's even more horrifying. If The Expanse was a story about human politics expanding outwards, The Mercy of Gods is about humanity being absorbed inward into something more intelligent, vast, cold, and utterly indifferent. What works? Firstly, moral complexity. There are no easy heroes. Even when people do what seems right, there are costs, sacrifices, and betrayal. It isn't sugar-coated. Secondly, the world building and alien oppressor structure. The Carricks are scary not because of their firepower, but because of how they force humans and other species to become useful under threat. Thirdly, character crises under pressure, mental health, ethical compromise, loyalty, small rebellions, the fight for identity under domination. Those parts are really powerful. And then, fourthly, the mystery of the swarm, the unseen enemy, the fuzzily defined stakes beyond killing aliens, which give it depth. Now, what doesn't quite land for some readers? Firstly, slow build. If you want non-stop action, this might feel a little ponderous in places. Lab work, worry, perhaps too much internal dialogue for people expecting action and combat. Second, some of the supporting casts are less fleshed out. You'll sometimes struggle to remember who Irina was or exactly what role Campar played until later. And thirdly, emotional distance. Because many characters are pushed to their extreme states very early on, it can be hard to connect with them fully before the serious suffering happens. Final thoughts. This book is smart, unsettling, and slow burn in all the right ways. The aliens aren't just monsters, they're scientists, and that's what makes them terrifying. The humans aren't heroes, they're survivors, and that's what makes them real. Don't expect space battles every chapter. This one's a psychological pressure cooker. It's about fear, loyalty, and compromise. By the end, you'll be questioning what mercy even means and wondering whether being alone in the universe might actually be better. If you love The Expanse, this book quickly starts to feel like a comfortable pair of slippers. The cadence of the prose is familiar. You soon recognize familiarity in how the characters are built and the story unfolds. Is it easy to read for sci-fi newbies? No, not as easy as The Martian or something by John Scalzi. So it's not a gateway drug to the world of science fiction. But if you like your characters real and human and your alien empires highly intelligent and seemingly immortal, this one's for you. Final verdict. 9 out of 10 for concept, 8 for pacing, drags a bit in some places, and a perfect 10 for existential dread. Because if this is what mercy looks like, I don't want to see their wrath. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where the magnificent duo that is Corey will take us in the next book in the series. We know it lands in April next year and that it will be titled The Faith of Beasts. Go get this one now so you're ready when the next one drops. Thanks for watching, folks. If you've read The Mercy of Gods, drop your thoughts below in the comments. And if you haven't yet, maybe wait until you're emotionally stable. See you in the next one.